Well, hello there. Welcome back to Sweet Hot Rods and Honey. We're still working on the 51 Ford pickup, and you can see we've got, got some hubcaps on, and also we've been doing a bunch of work to the engine. So let me show you what's going on, and I'll tell you what we're going to do in the next 30 minutes. So we've been busy doing a few things. In the interior, we finished putting in windows, and on the driver's side, passenger side, also we've been working on trying to find leaks in the air conditioning system, but we did put in these air vents under the dash. We straightened up a little bit of wiring under the dash, and we just roughed in the kick panels. Back here at the fuse box, and this wiring menagerie, we've got to straighten it up just a little bit and make a cover to cover up the fuse box. Last week I removed the exhaust system and took it to a buddy of mine that did TIG welding. So we've got all these joints welded, TIG'd, and all the way up to the headers. So they turned out really nice, and it was a very reasonable price. Up in the engine bay, we put on these new valve covers with a coil cover. So we've got a valve cover and then another top on top of that close up the coils. So we still have to do a little bit of dressing up, different type of wire loom. For now I put on the plastic stuff, but I'd like to straighten that up. And then back against the firewall, I've got to straighten up. Those wires they're exposed, but everything's still working. So that's that, and I'm really happy with these valve covers. They turned out really nice. The type of coil that we used, we had to switch from the stock coil, which was it was actually quite tall. It was about that tall compared to these square style. So I bought a set of these square coils, and they get mounted in underneath kind of at that angle. So they fit, but it's a little bit tight with the wire harness and the main connector coming off of the main harness. So that connector is right in here, but it works. And so I'm happy about that. Like I said before, we have to still track down a leak in the air conditioning system. So we have low pressure side here, and the high pressure is down behind the radiator. When I hook up the vacuum pump and gauges and close it, vacuum it down as much as it goes, and then close off the gauges, turn off the pump, I can see that on this high pressure side, we are not losing any vacuum. So there doesn't appear that there's a vacuum leak on this side of the system. But on the low pressure side, I am losing air somewhere. So there's a leak. I double checked these connections, the connections on the inside of the bulkhead, They look okay, but the one suspect is maybe this hose from the compressor up to the bulkhead. That may have a leak, or these connections down at the compressor. So we're still fighting that battle, trying to track that down. But today what we're going to do is work on putting the front fender on and the running board on the passenger side. On the driver's side, we did get that mounted, and turned out pretty well. I've got a bracket. It's tough to see underneath the driver's side, but we're going to use these brackets that are a support for the fender. So that's going to stay there, and it also helps to mount the fender onto the truck. On the fender to running board joint, we put in a rubber gasket between the two, so that will eliminate any chafing of metal to metal. And then also against the body, there's a fender to body seal. So this was put in place, and so that's looking good. And then back here, I'll put the bed on, the box on last, and the back fenders last. But we may have miscalculated location of where the exhaust comes out, and on this side it's coming out just in front of the front edge, or just behind the front edge of the fender. So this is going to get dipped down, and on this joint between this 90-degree bend to the straight part of the exhaust, I did not have that welded, so that we can make an adjustment if need be to drop down the tip of the exhaust lower. So it certainly is going to be lower. We just don't know how much, and how much clearance we're going to have here of the back fender to the front edge of the exhaust. So anyway, that's what we got going on. Oh, and there's one other thing here. The emergency brake. I don't know if I showed this in a previous video or not, but I got these new cables that were matching the what was it, 1999 Ford rear end. This is an 8.8 rear end, and this has I guess the matching set of emergency brakes coming off of each wheel, and they get joined here. So this has to get, I have to make a kind of a bracket that will join these two together, and then that'll get a single connection from the front edge of that bracket to the front of the truck, where it'll come up and eventually get attached to the brake, the emergency brake handle, parking brake. So that has to be done, but that's not going to be done today. We did get our gauges mounted on the dash, and they are hooked up to Dakota Digital. Still have to go through some of the calibrations and the setup procedure for all of the functions, but for the most part, those are done. I noticed on the front fender, we've got good clearance of the wheel with its current stance. So I don't think we're going to have any issues with rubbing. I did turn it, full left, full right, and we've got about an inch of clearance between the rubber and the metal fender. But I didn't realize we've got maybe 3 to 4 inches of clearance on the front edge of the, well, the bottom edge of the fender. So I may have to crank up these coilover shocks to, you know, raise it just a little bit. So they're adjustable. So we'll see. All right, well, let's get started with putting these fenders on. And what I did was I'm going to use a piece of cardboard there against the body so that when we lay up the fender, it doesn't mark up the side of the cowling. And I've got all stainless steel hardware that we're using. So these bolts are ready to go, and I'm going to put lock nuts on each one of those. So let me see how this goes. So the front fender and the running boards are ready to go. I made up the rubber gaskets front and back there, although we're not going to be putting on the back fenders quite yet. But we're going to get this front fender on. I'm going to try to do this myself. On the driver's side, I had my wife help me. So I may have to get her out here to give me a hand, because I just can't, as I'm holding the fender, I can't reach underneath to get these screws and bolts made. So let me give it a try now. If I fail, I'm going to have to call in for reinforcements. I forgot to mention, I already bolted on the lower fender section, so that's all finished. And here we go. I hope the post is not in the way. And I've got a little box here to help hold up the bottom edge. I'm going to try to line up these bolts with the holes, and they line up quite well on the driver's side. Main thing I want to do is try to get at least one started, and maybe I don't want to damage this fender or scratch it. All right, so we got this front one in. If I can get it held here and get this nut made, I'll be in shape. All right, now it's not worth trying to do it by myself. Let me go get my wife to help me. All right, here comes my helper.
Wait.
All right, here we go.
Do you have to film this?
Okay, my help is ready. All right, let me lift this up, and then once I get it in place, one thing I did do, I put some sticky caulk, like 3M rubberized caulk behind each of these bolts, so that when we lift it up in place, they're not going to go cattywampus. So,
Where do you want me?
all right, about where you're at. Let's try to get that one lined up. Get that one in place. Wait a minute, let me slide my thing down. You got that, just hold on to it so I can't do this and slide at the same time. There. Okay, let's try to get this next one in. Oh, these bolts are still moving around. Where's that hole? There it is. All right, let's try to get that one in. Now, let's see, there it is. Try to line them up. Whew, that's pretty tough. Doing it one person can't do it. So my wife helped me out, and we got all the bolts and lock nuts in place. This is all stainless steel that we're using, so it's not gonna rust. Alrighty, let me show you the Fender, and we're gonna get on to the running board next. So the Fender looks pretty cool with the black paint and black cherry. I think that combination looks really cool from a distance. So let's get on this rubber gasket that goes in between the body and the fender. And this is from Bob Drake. So this channel goes on the back edge of the fender. I've got to put some silicone on. We can lift the fender up some. It can be lifted, but you still need some silicone to slide that up there. It's got to go as far as it can. And I think, and this is the second half of the one piece, I think this is gonna be long enough, but I've got to double check. So this piece goes all the way up. It's going to go down and go down to the bottom edge of the fender. I think that's how I did it. If this ends up being just a hair short, I have another set that I bought by mistake, so you can always use that piece just to make sure it's long enough. So this comes out. More down for slides. Okay, we've got the rubber seal one. That's looking good. Last thing for this video is to put on this running board. And it's pretty straightforward. But there's one concern, is that if the top of this running board hits the bottom back edge of the cab, and it was just clearing on the other side, on the driver's side. I hope that this is going to clear. So we'll see. But anyway, I just wanted to mention, thanks a lot for watching the video. I'm happy that you're with me this far. If you haven't already subscribed and hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. It helps me, and we're trying to reach a goal. Right now we're right around 165, 166 subscribers, and we're trying to get a few more. So if you enjoy it, please hit the like and subscribe. And also, I just want to say, I love this part of the project, putting good panels back onto a vehicle. That means it's getting close to the end, but there's still plenty of work to do. And so anyway, thank you for watching. Okay, there's two bolts on the front of the running board, and this is pretty straightforward. Now this is where I had concerns. It's this lip on this pinch weld at the back edge of the cab. I didn't know if that's going to clear. Let me bolt this up and we'll see how close it is. And hopefully it's not going to interfere. I pre-drilled these pieces of rubber, but did I do the right ones? Yeah. All right. Okay. I don't want to scratch or mar up any of these panels since they've been nicely painted. I'm happy with the paint job. Of course, there's orange peel, and I'm going to have to do some wet sanding and buffing, cut and polish, but that's typical. Alright, this one is close, but not close enough. Let's see. Where are you? And so I got all these new panels. When I bought this truck, it was in really sad shape. If you haven't seen that first video and first set of pictures, this was a rust bucket, to say the least. And so I had thoughts of making it a rat rod and just leaving it rough, but those fenders and running boards, they were too far gone. So I thought, well, if I buy brand new stuff, what's the point in having a rat rod with brand new panels? So I thought, well, we'll just make it nice. So that's the direction we went. Oh, now we're getting close here. Let's bring this in a little bit further. Come on now. This rubber, I didn't make a big enough hole in it, so this bolt's not going through as easy. Come on. All right, let's screwdriver and jam it in there. Here. All right, let's try that. Let me try this other one. If I can get one of these started. Okay. There goes that one. That's good. Washer and a lock nut. I can't contort my hands. Come on, get on there and stay on there. I just can't get my hand in there right to even spin the nut on. Just start a little bit. So this fender looks like it's actually got to go forward maybe 2 inches based on the driver's side. So that's going to get pushed forward, and that will move that running board forward. Right now it's interfering with that exhaust. And I'm thinking that if it moves up to about here, then this will come underneath that back fender, because that's a huge fender. I'd like to keep these side pipes the way they are, since I already had them welded, but I think they look good that way. I'm definitely not going to bring them out the back of the truck. And if there's just no clearance up front here along that running board. So it's starting to take shape, and I think it's going to be pretty sweet. Old school wheels, modern power plant, modern dashboard with the old school look, and that's what I'm trying to achieve. I decided to jump ahead a little bit and put this front, I guess it's called a valance, on the bottom between the two front fenders. Yep, and it's a nice fit the way it looks. So let's see what we need to do. Put one in each side. There's a total of 3 bolts per side, and we'll get these done while it's low-hanging fruit. It's easy to bolt on. So that's why I thought I'd just go ahead and do it, add it to this video. So the biggest problem is trying to line these things up. To slide a bolt through these holes. There. And if I just get the bolt through and not even put the nut on, it should hang. Got that one. Okay, let's see. There we go. Found it. And washer and nut on each side, just to hold it. And to finish it off, we're going to try to put this on. You may have to drill out a couple holes because the alignment of the fender with this inner fender, those holes didn't quite line up. So let's see if we can get a couple of these holes in. There's 3 holes in each side. So let's see how far we can get. Need a few more bolts and washers. I ran out of, or bolts and nuts. I ran out of stainless steel washers, so I'm gonna order some. So I'm just gonna loosely fit these in for now. And we'll, when we get more washers, we'll take these out and finish this up. This is a far reaching. This may be a little tough. Well, this doesn't make for a very exciting video. Just me struggling. Or maybe it does. I can't believe it. Where is it? Screwdriver, jam the screwdriver in here. It looks good. We got to bolt everything together, and then it'll be done. So that's going to do it for this video. I just wanted to show you some of the stuff I'm doing, putting the body together and showing you the progress that was made on the engine, prettied up the engine. And so we're getting closer to bringing this thing outside and see how it feels on the road. But anyway, I just want to thank you. And again, if you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, please do. I really appreciate it. Alrighty, we'll see you the next time. Take care. Bye.